What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with a Tuesday edition of NBA Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video. Goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. Lindy50 would love to see you guys in the Discord so you can get all the plays before they hit this video here. We had a little bit of a hiccup there in the process last night, but we all got through, and, well, Giannis triple-double. Plus 800 posted in the premium Discord. Talked about it also on Kyle Kerm's show. It was my favorite play of the day over there where, again, plus 800 was kind of wild. And you don't want to get in the habit of saying, all right, plus 380 is where you projected at. Plus 800, I'm so right. This is a bad number, but it happens once in a while. And even still, you had to use unit management. Ended up only having a quarter on it, but you know what? At quarter, 2 units now. So that feels really good. But anywho, Lindy50 would love to see you guys in that Discord so you can get all of those plays, because I can't find Giannis triple-double the night before when Chris Middleton is in. So everything's updating throughout the day. I'm constantly jumping in there talking. Sometimes, oh, you're not entertained. Those are the best days. But I would love to see you guys there. I'll talk about it in between the halfway point of the show. But there's not really a halfway point of the show because it's 7 games. So 3.5, I'd have to stop talking in the middle. We're not going to do that. Producer Jacob, though, he's excited. I'm excited. We're on the right track here in the NBA streets yet again, here to start off the new year. Feels good. Feels great. Hopefully Orlando and New York can have a big second half. That's what we really need. Let's get to the picks. I wonder how many times I hit my elbow turning my computer to start this segment. It has to be double digits at this point, which is just pathetic because I like to think of myself as an athletic individual. But Phoenix, they have a bunch of athletic individuals coming off the bench, like Bradley Beal, who had his best game in forever going up against Philly. They end up relegating him to the bench. They end up starting Ryan Dunn and Mason Plumlee exactly like they said they would, but Mason Plumlee only plays 13 minutes. Just saying. Yusuf Nurkic actually only 14 minutes. Part of that is Joel Embiid was ruled out. They go to a lot of small ball lineups. But Phoenix on a back-to-back here, taking on a Charlotte team that I think got a lot healthier off the injury report entirely right now. And hey, they ended up popping up as questionable the other day, but you want to be paying attention to it. LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller off the injury report should be operational here in this spot. And that creates a little bit more certainty of what we've got with this total, 219.5. Way too low. Way too low. Phoenix not really playing any defense, although Ryan Dunn, that's what he was inserted into this starting lineup to do. Bradley Beal, a little ammunition in the kitchen off the bench. But Charlotte, man, Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball are going to make things look way better on that side of the floor. Again, pay attention to news. Maybe they pop up with the Q tag, but assuming they're back, which there are no reasons I shouldn't, this is almost a lock. It is a like on the over of 219.5. That is over on FanDuel. The only reason I'm not locking it is you got to see those guys suit up. Don't want to get burned by that news. Houston laying 9 going up against Washington, and there are a lot of worlds where you should imagine double-digit favorites here on the Houston side. I think this is one of those spots with Jordan Poole questionable, Bub Carrington questionable, Bilal Coulibaly popped up with an illness is questionable as well, and Jalen Green, he's questionable on the Houston side, but from what you've seen so far from Cam Whitmore since he got back with this team, I don't really think Jalen Green is the biggest miss in the entire world. He's a volume scorer. He is very good at being a volume scorer. He's shored up a little bit on the defensive end. You have to be for Udoka here in Houston, but my God, how are we getting 9 here? I don't understand it whatsoever. Brogdon's out, and I think he's the best player on this basketball team. Him, Kyle Kuzma, 1-2 in some capacity. Yeah, I just don't see how you're not getting value here on the Houston side. Just half unit, clear cut. Disturbing. That's the first word that comes to mind, and I've been saving this one for producer Jacob. I hope he didn't cheat and look ahead, because I told him, wait until you hear. Wait until you see who Dallas started on Monday. Now, they are on the tail end of a back-to-back, and sometimes that can make one leg of it uncertain as far as what you're getting, but with Kyrie Irving out today, with Luka Doncic out today, you would assume Spencer Dinwiddie would be in the starting lineup, or at the very least, Jaden Hardy, as far as from a point guard perspective. No? Oh, no, my friends. Najee Marshall started at point guard, taking up what are we actually doing here? Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Maxi Kleber, and Derek Lively II going up against Memphis. They were walking in Memphis, walking with their 2 feet off of Beal. Never been to Beal, I kind of want to, but I'm definitely thinking that Najee Marshall starting 3.5. 3.5 is where his assist prop jumped at, and I tried to take advantage of it, and it had already gotten nuked to 4.5 here a second ago. But I'm just saying, I expect that assist rate to actually be voluptuous going forward here, if that is going to be the case. And if that's going to be the new configuration that they choose to opt with, or they basically choose to go with here. And Daniel Gafford got dinged up here as well. A lot of reasons to think Najee Marshall's playing time got short up. You know who else is dead? The road visitor, Austin Reeves, who tried to goat for us the other day. Well, he did goat us. 24.5. We ended up getting over with 2 free throws to end that basketball game, both the 25.5 and the, yeah, anybody who jumped in on the original number there, we all cashed. It was very, very nice. But Austin Reeves, 40 minutes a night here going up against Dallas, and Dallas a little bit more targetable here on the back-to-back. I think Austin Reeves' assist props are just still awesome and undervalued. We're talking a guy who should be closer to like that 8.5, 9.5 every single time out now. And yeah, this is one where we're still waiting on it, but I'm thinking Najee Marshall assist ladder and Austin Reeves assist ladder, because of course that's what we're doing here in the year of our Lord 2025, right? Right? Use code Lindy50, friends, down below if you guys want to jump into the Discord. You want to get all those plays? You want to get those Giannis triple-doubles in your life? Well, I can provide them, my friends, because, well, that's what we ended up doing here on Monday. Absolute Hulk slam to get a +8 hundo in that one. You're not going to get that on this video all the time. Again, I try to do all of my updated stuff, but there's so much news in the National Basketball Association. I think you've noticed that by now, and I lean towards my overs here on this video. Some unders that'll get posted there, and then obviously Portfolio EV does a great job of capturing those from an expected value position. So you can sign up for that down below over at OddsShopper as well. But if you want to get all of my plays, 1 week, $10, your very first week using Lindy50, or your first month, less than $1 a day at $25. Look at that, 30 days in a month. Oh man, unless there's 31, unless there's 28, there's only 28 this year in February. Let's get back to the picks. Minnesota starting Dante DiVincenzo on Monday. Didn't see that one coming, but he's been playing a lot better than Mike Conley. We'll see Mike Conley here on back-to-backs. That's always a question, but considering I think he's relegated to this bench role, and Dante DiVincenzo starting going forward maybe for Minnesota, or maybe it's a one-off and they're trying to limit the minutes for Mike Conley on the front end of it. We shall find out. I'm watching that game here in the corner of my screen. They're at halftime, 53-46. Low scoring out there in Minnesota, but this is all about Zion Williamson. We have a chance for Zion Williamson to play basketball. Listed questionable, and that came out of absolutely nowhere. So obviously they're rehabbing him. They've had such a brutal start here, but the West is so wide open that I don't even know what New Orleans should or should not do. It's kind of like talking about Philly, where Philly's got one of the best basketball players in Joel Embiid in the entire association, but yet such a brutal start because of injuries, because of other things. Man, the entire New Orleans team basically had been relegated there. They are 7-29, and yet only 5.5-point dogs here to Minnesota, and that is purely because Zion Williamson has a chance to suit up. You know who doesn't? It's a brutal run out for them. Trey Murphy won't be playing. Brandon Ingram still out with the left ankle injury, and DeJounte Murray is questionable. So lots of questions, lots of unknowns, if you will. But under 224 is at least interesting to me. I know that's not a lot of, it's not a very interesting game right now until we get more information on the New Orleans side, but this could also be the most interesting game just from a real-life perspective on the entire slate. Atlanta taking on Utah here in this one. In Atlanta, we've seen questionable tags coming in constantly here for the likes of Trae Young, for the likes of Jalen Johnson, but Jalen Johnson already ruled out. We got that news well ahead of time with that shoulder injury. He hasn't looked entirely right now. I love him. He's made us a lot of money on this program and in the Discord this season so far. Starting to fall off on hard times here from time to time. So I hope he takes care of that right shoulder, because he has not been right for about the last week. And I keep trying to force the issue. But Isaiah Collier, probably going to be your starting point guard, considering Keontae George and Jordan Clarkson out for this one, in addition to John Collins in that front court. Kind of shores up minutes for Walker Kessler. And I think Kyle Filipowski probably falls into the starting rotation against Atlanta, with some of the pieces that I expect on that side of it being Zachary Risachet, DeAndre Hunter coming into that starting unit without Jalen Johnson. I think that's the assumption. But we have a Lauri Markkanen Q tag that's just lingering, hanging out there. And yet I like the Utah side of this one without Jalen Johnson. Atlanta's not a very good basketball team as is. They're basically 500. They went on a really hot run, and Jalen Johnson is that dude. But without him on the floor, I don't agree that this number is inflated to 6. And Trae Young, while being much better than I've given him credit for in the past, not the best spot taking on Isaiah Collier, who's out there simply to shut you down. Not that he'll be all that effective at it. To the game of the night, Boston at Denver in this one. And producer Jacob would like you all to know that 1, he exists, and 2, he doesn't agree with this line. As a Boston fan, he thinks this should be closer to a pick'em, and I want to talk through some of the reasons. 1, I think he's crazy. 2, must be nice to just, twiddle your thumbs until May, knowing that your team's still going to be around and still going to compete and then win a championship again. They don't even need to make any moves. There's nobody in the East who can stack it up enough to get through, and the West is just not one. The West was not one. How the West was one? How the West was not one. But anyway, this is going to be the West that we're playing this basketball game at here in Denver, and I'm excited for it. Jokic against Porzingis. Now, Porzingis is one of those few guys that's going to show up and stand next to Jokic and actually look bigger. That's always funny. That's always kind of enjoyable. It's like Wembanyama when he met Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis could not believe his eyes. But Kristaps Porzingis is special, and he kind of changes the entire dimension of this basketball team. And this entire basketball team's healthy on the Boston side. And I do think that this gives them a little bit of an opportunity to decide, hey, how many minutes do we really want to utilize for an Al Horford here in this spot? How do we really want to go about utilizing minutes for Luke Cornett, if anything, in the front court? And I think the more I run through iterations of this game, Boston not playing on a back-to-back, they do not appear again there on Wednesday, which was something that I really wanted to be paying close attention to. I think Denver on the back-to-back, we see Kristaps Porzingis have those minutes extended up against Jokic. I really like the Porzingis side of it. Over 23.5 points plus rebounds. It's a lean like purely because it's at Bet365. The other books have this at 24.5 minus 120. So if you don't have Bet365, it's okay, but you want to take advantage when it's positive EV. If you can only play the 24.5 outside of minus 110, pretty tough, so I would keep that one off the card. And our final game of the evening, Miami getting 7.5 against Golden State. And Golden State, Jonathan Kuminga going to be out for a long time, ends up falling, having that ankle injury. It's brutal because this is a team that probably wanted to unload Kuminga. It's somebody Draymond Green isn't all especially fond of, but Draymond Green, he's awesome. They're one of the better basketball players, more underrated basketball players relative to just, I don't know, any type of championship pedigree you want to talk about. And yeah, he's gotten to hang out with Steph Curry and a prime Klay Thompson. And, even Andrew Wiggins alongside him here now ended up being the difference maker in a championship team recent years, like 2 years ago. So it is still Draymond Green. He has the ability to talk about stuff, but yeah, Jonathan Kuminga is going to be missed. There is really no doubt about that. Not much else to say. I think this is probably the most unappealing game to be betting on the slate as of right now, purely because some of the hero numbers that I looked at entering for Monday night weren't as advantageous, and I'm not expecting that the props are going to, when a majority of the money is on the over of those props, you're going to see books kind of react in a spot against Golden State here. 219.5, lower total than I was expecting. I lean towards that over, but Tyler Hero props, don't know if we're going to get a second time to fire those up in the premium Discord. And that does it for a Tuesday edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. You know what to do. Go to that comment section below. Let me know your favorite plays that exist on the board for this lovely one we got before us. 7 games. You can follow me at Eric Lindquist, where I'm firing up all of those prop threads, talking through a little bit of my work. It's nice to show your work there in the old math column as we're working through these picks every single night before Monday through Friday. Check it out here on the Odd Shopper channel. And then on the weekends, yes, we'll still have NFL Lindy's going strong throughout the postseason in those streets and MLB. Oh, it's going to be even 2 months, like 2.5 months. It's unbelievable. Anyway, let's go out of here by producer Jacob. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.